With Elon Musk buying Twitter, obviously both of our burner accounts have been working overtime.
They're the mains now.
The burners have become the mains, and we're just going to share with you some of the fun tweets I've been doing. So here's the first one. You can take your and then tie it around your and then, Jim, you can jump in the lake, okay? And then take a full bag of and choke on them. How about that? So that's a fun one that I was workshopping.
Yeah, I had a good one that got 4 retweets and 7 favorites. And it was, listen up, Dr. If you want to me with your then I'm going to go to your and you can suck on. I thought it was a good one.
It's been pretty fun out there.
Yeah,
let's have a good episode.
Thanks, Elon.
The boys. It's the BOYSCAST. The lads. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST. The bros. It's the BOYSCAST. The homies. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Experience the BOYSCAST. The BOYSCAST.
Well, I'm specifically excited for this episode because actually some pretty good news. On the way here, I stopped by a fortune teller, and that fortune teller actually told me this is going to be a bad episode, but which sounds on the surface bad until you find out that that fortune teller was none other than Jim Cramer, which
Whoa!
is, yeah, Mad Money's Jim Cramer.
Sell.
Has a side gig doing fortune telling, and he said the BOYSCAST is going to have a bad episode.
He said the BOYSCAST is going to have a bad episode?
Oh,
well, I know what that means,
we
Ryan.
all know what that means. Jimmy Crames.
The old Cramer fade.
What do you think about that? The Jim Cramer fortune telling booth? If I could do characters, the things I would do.
Did you see him getting choked up about Facebook? Literally near tears over his Facebook call. Over Meta, I guess is
well,
now.
he was, because Jim Cramer was saying too that, you know, he was basically like, you know, Facebook's making all these bad decisions, and then there's like a montage of him being like 95 times like, I'm on the Meta train. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't have Fang without the F. You know, this is a stock, you know, get your grandmother's got to buy it. To cash out your pension, put it in Facebook, and then he was.
He was like literally like almost crying. He goes, you know, sometimes you get it wrong. I just blindly bought into it. And I'm sorry.
Facebook has been getting fucking smacked.
Oh, beat down.
I actually took a pretty big beat down too because you sold yours. I'm still.
I said it on this podcast. I'm the new Cramer. I said it on this podcast at the beginning of the year. I'm out.
Are you the new Cramer?
No.
On the stage, you are.
Anyways. Don't get me in any more trouble, Ryan.
You know what? We should also do a shout out to all the brothers on Halloween that thought this would be the year that they could get away pulling off the blackface.
Ugh.
You know, they said every year there's about 10 or 15, right?
Yeah.
You look at the mirror, you look at the polish, you look at the mirror, you look at the polish, and you say, I got this.
Yeah.
Did you see? So, you know what's funny? So this is, you know what was my Twitter account was at one point? Because I follow a lot of different people with different political affiliations. And this is what I saw, like 4 tweets in a row from both. And it was like 3 left-wing accounts posting a kid in blackface being like, can you believe this? And then 4 right-wing accounts posting a black guy stabbing someone. Because there is this like kid that stabbed, like a black guy that stabbed someone in school.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Or he tried to do the Asian.
So everyone's posted that, but it was so funny. It's like literally every fucking,
everybody has their thing, you know?
All the left-wing accounts were like, you know, look at this kid that, you know, because you saw it, there was 3 or 4 kids that like dressed up in like black prisoners.
Right, I saw that in Utah. That was aggressive. So they should have been like, we're coal miners. Because that's what I thought. I saw the thing.
There
it was such a dark shade of
you
black.
You could have went with coal
that
miners.
they looked like they had like come out of a chimney.
That's the move.
Like they really did. So I go, like, it wasn't even like it wasn't like a Trudeau.
Yeah.
Where you go, that's clear what's going on here.
No, they didn't even do the red lips like Trudeau always does.
Yeah. You know, I came very close to doing blackface when I was in Guelph.
Really? What did you almost go with? Your girlfriend's boyfriend?
No, I was because you know that guy from Epic Mealtime, Harley or whatever.
Yeah.
You know that guy. So he posted a thing where he was dressed up as Shaq from 2006, and he's like full, like basically exactly like Kimmel. And he goes like, really, like it wasn't a big deal at the time.
Yeah, like everyone thought it was
like
funny.
nobody really thought it was like, it wasn't like an issue like it is now. Maybe it was to black people, and they just like didn't say anything, and they were kind of behind the scenes being like, what is the matter with these whites?
Maybe. I think that depends on where you live. Like, it's honestly, this is a
Ryan's having his Megyn Kelly moment.
no,
right now.
I have another I have another thing about it that I was thinking in terms of people that are posting on the different sides.
Yeah.
This is the best way to describe the difference between, like, you know, probably the worst interpretation of people on both sides, right? But you go, the liberal is someone that they see someone they don't know, like a white person that only grew up around white people, right?
Yeah.
And they see other cultures and they inherently assume they're better. So
Sure.
if they saw like an Indian or something like that, they'd be like, their culture's so much better.
Yeah.
They people that they've never met, they automatically assume like they're way
Yeah,
better
well,
than
they put
us.
them, well, it's just like the self-flagellation.
And then the like super, you know, like stereotypical racist Republican would be like, we see people we don't know and we assume we're better.
Yeah, that's good.
That's
a
like
good
a
point.
pretty like good way to synopsis. Like, and they're both on a lot of times talking about people they don't know.
yeah, that is
So
true.
I think that it would be this: if you described people that like grew up in a certain a super multicultural place, I bet you weren't that hyped up about it. I bet you, like, if you were at an all white school and you were like the black guy at the all white school and everyone was dressing up as blackface, I bet you didn't like it that much.
Of course, well, yeah. It was Guelph and university where we both went to school, and it was like a Halloween party, thankfully. And then, but
What'd you almost go as?
So we went to Value Village. You know, that's like college. You all go
Uh-huh.
to Value Village or whatever, like Goodwill here.
I just went to the normal village because I'm not cheap like you.
Yeah, you went to the gay village. But anyways, then I found like a Cosby kind of sweater there, and I go, oh,
there you
Cosby,
go.
right? It's like 2005 probably. So I was like, oh, I'll just go as Cosby, like done and done. And I like hate dressing up for Halloween. Like I don't have really any interest in it. And,
Me neither.
and then, so I guess I got some like brown paint. I like remember this too. I was like in my bathroom and like the party was like kicking and everybody's all drunk. And I think I went to go put some like literally like did this, and I go, I don't want to put this shit on my face. And
You
then
just didn't want to do it.
I just didn't want to. I didn't have a moral issue with it.
You got saved by your laziness?
Yes, I just straight up was like, "This is dumb." Like, I'm not walking around. With
So what
paint
did you
on
do?
my face.
You
I was
just
a white Bill Cosby.
Stop it. You weren't a white Bill Cosby for Halloween.
And I had like a beard and everything. It made no sense.
Get the hell out of here.
I was phoning it in.
Yeah, that is the biggest phone in of all time, which
Yeah.
saved you your ass.
Yeah, saved me my ass. I
Saved
know.
by the laziness.
Honestly, too. Now in hindsight, I was like, I should have just been Al from fucking Tool Time.
Nice work, dude. Yeah, you could have pulled off a
I should
real
obviously,
Al,
yeah,
buddy.
or Billy Mays or something. But
Also, our friend who we won't add fuel to the fire, but one of our buddies, a girl had a special come out, and then, you know, people clipped a bit of the stand up, and everyone on TikTok was flipping out, and they deleted the special, and blah 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 blah. But me and Danny were just loving the idea of like the messaging being like, "Hey, you know, I've never had this many people on the internet mad. Do you have any advice for it?" And be like, "I think you want to go with the SM58." Like, you know, so I recommend an H6. Like we just immediately.
yeah, welcome to podcasting. That's like we should do like you know, like an introduction to a workplace video, like an 80s style. Where, welcome to podcasting. We're glad you made it here, fellow comedian. The world of podcasting can be rich and fulfilling, just like your old life was.
Yeah. Now there's going to be some changes around here. Here's some words that we'll put in your vocabulary. With some more beeps.
Yeah, you will notice that a lot of your old friends no longer talk to you, but you have new friends in the world of podcasting.
Yeah, that's so great. Yeah, but you're all immediately shop talking. They go, no advice to how to make this go away. You go, oh, honey,
Honey, baby, come here.
honey,
You think
baby.
this is going away?
Honey,
Aw.
baby. Now you're gonna want to go. I don't. You know, you're gonna want to get the arm because it's gonna be a mic arm that you're gonna have forever. I recommend the Ultimus.
Yeah, don't cheap out now because you're just going to be buying a new one in 6 months. I guarantee it.
Ah, shit. you know, you guys deal with this a lot. Everyone's mad at me on the internet. What do I do? You know, a lot of people are gonna tell you the SM57, but I'm gonna want to tell you the SM58 is what
what kind of computer are you using? Chromebook? Ooh, that is not gonna handle Premiere Pro. Ooh, that's gonna be clunky when you're editing all your videos.
Yeah, now what do you think about PC culture? You go, you know, it's good sometimes. You're going to want to update that one. You're going to want to update some of these beliefs. You're not, baby. She's just not that into you anymore.
It is crazy.
Really is. Because I see some people that kind of were like, sort of edgy comics that, you know, sort of got kicked out of the limelight or whatever. And they do podcasts, and you could tell that they're still, you know, they have like industry in their brain. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like they used to say with comedians that go on the road too much, that you could say that you could see the road in them.
Of course.
Like they just, you know, they have all the corny jokes that like kind of are like fill in the blanks that would kill somewhere, but you'd be a little embarrassed to be doing that at the cellar every night sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, you have these people that have a little too much industry in them where you go, everything you're saying, it's like, yeah, you're like, it's like a lot of fluff in those takes. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, understandably so.
No, but my point is that they think they're still going to get the person back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the one that's still like, you know, they're with their ex, their ex already sort of left them, but they, you know, they still say happy birthday. Maybe they see them, you know, just remaining friends, but like, you'll probably get her back eventually. You go, pal.
Yeah.
She's married now. She has kids. It's over.
It is interesting too, again, just the difference between Canada and America, because her joke was about, like, the punchline essentially was native related, which in Canada is the cardinal sin. Here, that wouldn't even fucking raise an eyebrow.
I totally agree.
Like, you could say that and nobody would say jack shit.
No one would even notice.
Nobody would even like, what are you even talking about?
Headdress, you know?
Yeah, like, what are you even talking about? Like, we have like 6 sports teams named after a fucking Indian chief.
It probably reminds me of the equivalent of like when people get like fired up about the Armenians or something like that. And you kind of are
the Armenian genocide.
Yeah, and you kind of are like, yeah, it sounds like it's bad, but like, and someone's like, can you believe they said this? You're like, you can't joke about like that's like, a
dude,
taboo topic.
Bro, that's not even in my top 5 genocides. Like, what are you talking about?
Right, or something like that, where you're just like, I think that, yeah, even though it might be really bad, you go, I don't think you have the like internet support of like, this is well, you're just number one. You can't say
you're not in that.
You're not an it victim.
No. And you're just not like that. That was a stab comedically for you to kind of like be like, hey, I'm going to try and like, you know, do something a little out of my normal purview, I guess. And then you go, ugh. Like, that was literally touching the stove and just like, it's fucking real hot.
Sure. Yeah. So anyways, shout out. But
yeah, shout out.
No, she's super funny. But
I know. It sucks. Like,
yeah, of course. What I will say is the big topic of the week is Twitter for the boys. And so one thing that we need to do is, if you recall, we were talking about it before, and we said, listen, Elon Musk does a lot of things that, you know, he says he doesn't do. And even in the video, we were talking about like, he's always, this is coming. A lot of it doesn't happen in Twitter. And we said, this was our thing with Elon Musk. If this does go through, we owe him an apology.
Yeah.
So I just want to say,
he tried to get out of it. He aggressively tried to get out of it.
But the facts are the facts. We said that if we go, we never said one way or another. We think, you know, it's.
I mean, I'm a Muskhead.
A sure thing,
dude. The people who
you're a Musket.
I'm a Musket. All the people who are like, he is. I don't know if there's a worse person to bet against than him.
Totally.
Like the historically, like the amount of people who are certain that like this is going to be a huge flop.
They're just getting rinsed, and betting against him is costly.
Not even that, but people are going,
on the stock market it is.
Well, stock market, but like all these people who are like, oh, this is like the death of Twitter, and haha, like fuck you, everybody on Twitter, like look what you did, and you're like. He's like, the odds are it's going to be way sicker in a year from now.
Of course.
Dude, he's bringing back Vine. Vine might be back by the end of the year.
Well, tell him your apology, because you have yet to do that. You said a lot of words other than the apology. You're the guy.
Dear Elon Musk, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Keep it going.
I'm sorry for ever doubting that you would be taking Twitter private.
We doubted that you would take it private. I want to say that it has been funny over the last few days watching you ask Rob Reiner for $8. Dan Rather and Stephen King have been going mental, which has been amusing for me. the whole Ligma balls thing.
Pretty solid.
We're two guys who we actually are friends of their friends. That's what we have with a friend Aaron. Who's like the best, but he's like, he loves hooking people up. And we were like, that guy's so fucking funny, whatever. And he was like, I should introduce the two of you. And I was like, for what?
Oh, yeah. Go, hey, pretty funny.
We have a couple of friends like that where they just love like introducing people. They're like
the connectors.
Yeah, they connectors, right? So they'll put you in a text thread and they'll be like, I think you guys should meet. And you just be like, what's up? And they'll be like, what's up? And you're like, all right.
Yeah, that Ligma thing.
Good to meet you.
Sick.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. The guy ruled. But basically
it's funny that he's like the CEO of one of their companies.
So this guy's a CEO of a company.
Like, just like, it's very Elon Musk vibe.
Yeah, I don't know if people know that about that. So basically,
one of them is.
These two guys went outside of Twitter and then they held a box and pretended that they were getting fired, and they did all these press interviews and they said their last names were Ligma and Johnson, and then he goes, I just got to take it one day at a time. I got to go touch base with my husband and wife, and like said all these pretty funny things, but kind of kept it straight. And this guy's like a CEO of a company that's being like incubated by these guys.
I know, and they all think it's hilarious. They're all like, this guy's the best. Like, you're on your lunch break, drinking lattes. This guy's going prank reporters.
Yeah. I wish I thought of that. That would have been a fun one to go ahead and pretend you're part of Twitter.
Solid.
But the one thing I'll say is, so out of the gate, a lot of people have been saying that, it almost is like they have all these like, controls on everything, like
just throttles and stuff.
Throttles on everything,
absolutely.
right? But it is like such a crazy thing to do. It's almost like in years that would be like a funny documentary of like the ins and outs of, there's these guys in there essentially like with a big crank, just like, Elon Musk comes in, they're all coding like, oh no, he's here, like trying to bury the code and all this stuff. So the day it happened, I gained 900 followers in one day.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? What's happening?
Well, they kind of just took their foot off the bridge.
How much of is it even a conspiracy, or is it just like everyone's in on it? Because you think that there'd be more whistleblowers, probably, or has there been like whistleblowers being like, yo, we have all this code written in that like as soon as we put a little fucking thing on you, but where do the followers come from? I don't get it.
It's just you're getting recommended more.
But
you're just like, they weren't like, dude, if you sign up for a new Twitter account, they hit you with like, here's 20 people, because you don't follow anybody when you start, right?
And I'm not getting input.
So they're just like, when someone signs up on a new Twitter account, it's literally like 12 left-wing celebrities or 20 or whatever.
They're giving you Jason
Dan
Momoa.
Rather and Chrissy Teigen and
Dan
like all the ones you think, right?
Okay.
Right. And then now they're like, hey, we think you might like some person who's not these 20 people.
You think now it's just based algorithmically as opposed to, what I mean?
And there is like a thing, like if you go on Twitter, you see like suggested to follow on the side.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you just were never in that. And now they're just like being more fair about that.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So there has been a bunch of stuff, but so I'll just go through a couple of like the funny articles, and I'll tell there's like a lot of interesting kind of stuff that we can fucking talk about, but
I know.
Interesting the same day that happened. So look at this. I have this Instagram thing that just popped up on my Instagram, right? Look at this.
The safety thing?
Did you see that?
The safe to keep safe from words?
No. I saw that you got the safe from words.
I go, hey, if you want to be safe from words, you can do these filters. I was like, safe from words?
Right.
What?
Well, the safe from word thing is funny because all of the people, there is a big part of like a lot of these apps where they just go, listen, we're going to make you be able to choose your experience sort of thing, right?
Sure.
It's like, hey, if you don't want a thing, but I know,
it's the framing of it.
Which I sort of get it, but they don't want to admit it. It's basically, they're like, no, I don't want to turn it off. I want it not on.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, with TV, it's the same thing with like mothers listening to Howard Stern back in the day and complaining. It'd be just like, well, why don't you just not turn on that channel and be like, yeah, I want other people to not be able to turn on that channel.
The safe from word things is weird too, because it's in your DMs on Instagram. So they go, you just want you to filter out.
Well, this is what Instagram said. They go, help us keep Instagram fair and inclusive by answering questions about your race and ethnicity so we can help measure and promote fairness. So I clicked on it, and it's a survey, and it wants me to tell them my race and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know how that shit goes.
Go, hello, lying.
Well, like imagine.
Yeah, literally, Instagram thinks you are a First Nations black trans person.
Well, what
right
do you
now.
think the odds are? And then I click in and I go, yeah, I'm white, straight male. And they go, nice, brother.
You go, hey, what happened to all my likes? And they go, I mean, you filled out the thing. What did you think was going to happen?
Well, you think I'm stupid? The only thing I'm obviously going to do is, no, I just didn't fill it out because I'm
Yeah.
like, but I'm sure that's
That's
just
probably
counts.
an admission.
It's
like
an
they go,
admission of guilt.
he clicked it and didn't fill it out. He goes, it's a straight white guy.
Of course it is.
Put him in the straight white guy bin.
But like, that's one of those things that Canada's already doing that, right? Where they're already like passing this bill to, to decide who they get to put in the algorithms or whatever.
The YouTube Canada.
Well, I used to always say that. This was why I like the internet or whatever, because they can't like punish you for what you look like or whatever, right?
Yeah, if someone likes you, you don't get punished just because you're not the right shade of.
Well, that's one, or the right gender or whatever. The
Yeah.
right, you haven't sucked any dicks yet, right? But I was like seeing that. I was just like, wow. There's what do you think the odds are that I type in straight white guy and then it's like, yo, fuck yeah, another one, yo, the bros. There's just. Do you think there's a bunch of
Like confetti comes out on the screen like the Robin Hood app?
nice, yo.
Goes, congrats.
Yeah. Yo,
It instantly connects you with like Mark Zuckerberg on like a FaceTime call. It's just him to personally congratulate you.
Yeah, he's propsing
He
the
goes,
screen.
yo, another one.
Yeah.
I just want to say congratulations, Ryan.
yeah.
Really proud of you.
Yo, we're proud of you. We're gonna put you in the algorithm. So you only know that the only bad could come of that. So I didn't like that going on.
Yeah.
That I was gonna get put into a box like that. The blue check mark thing is the number one debate. That's going on the internet right now.
Yeah, the $8 a month. I don't get how it works. I'm actually wondering because I have been a day one subscriber of Twitter Blue, and I'm curious because I only pay $3, and I'm curious if I'm going to get grandfathered in and get to keep it for $3, or they're going to jack it to the $8 because it's already $5.
Yeah, you got me paying the $3. So that's the first thing where you go, everyone that they want to, the big argument is he's saying he wants people to pay $8 and he wants to get everyone to.
I mean, I'll tell you why the smartest thing they did.
People aren't happy about it.
Well, certain people aren't. They go like, because, they want it as this status thing. But the one thing that he'll get people to do, because one, it will get rid of a lot of the spammers. Because if they have to now spend $8 like for these like.
Well, what people with check marks have are spammers.
Well, there's a lot, dude. There's like a whole thing with the check marks. There's check mark spams. They're the ones who like are, I guess, notorious on there. Not notorious because they basically take over people's accounts and stuff.
Why wouldn't they?
I guess
pay
that
their
wouldn't.
$8?
I guess that wouldn't really matter. But
if you're making cash all off your scams, what's the $8?
Yeah, maybe not then.
What's $8 to a motherfucker like that?
Yeah, but also is you have to show ID and stuff. Right.
Oh, now we're talking.
Because we have to show that we have to send in our
I just
ID.
think that whatever, if they're going to charge it. Like I said, I'm the same as you are. I already pay my $3 for that. So it's like, because you scammed me into paying for that when I don't even know if it helps.
Well, I like it because you can post videos that are longer than
That's the only reason
2
I have it.
minutes.
Yeah. But so you sort of only get it. But the problem is.
And an edit button.
And an edit button. But the problem is that they don't, and you can message people and it shows up in their things or whatever. But the issue is that Elon Musk is making me charge $8 and now that's going to come out of my employees' salaries.
Yes.
So
Trickle up.
yeah,
Trickle down.
everyone's making $8 less each. And then at the end of the month, I choose which of those $8 I pay for it with. The Patreon people, we're going to need more people to subscribe to just pay for that $8 a month.
Yeah, that $8 ain't free.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
but the one smart thing he did was he said that you'll have priority replies if you're a Twitter Blue, which will instantly.
well, you already have that if you have check mark.
Not always, though, I don't think.
I did get my check mark fair and square by asking my agent to get it for me.
I just applied like 8 years ago when it was like, you just sent your
I know,
ID.
Danny was an OG check
Dude,
mark.
literally, when I got it, is you sent in a photo of your driver's license and a link to my IMDb page with my
you were cooking.
9 credits in Canada.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with
He's a
that.
famous guy right here.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with.
So originally the thing was so people don't impersonate famous
People don't
right?
impersonate,
But it
yeah.
became that everyone who if you get a job as like a janitor at Vice, they'll get you a check mark, right?
Yeah, of course.
So there's all these people at these like nothing blogs, and then their idea is like, hey, well, we should be verified to show that we're like a news source or whatever. And there is a part of me that's like, there is a part of me that thinks like, listen, if you are like a successful, journalist that could be considered like a famous, newsworthy person, then you probably $8 is nothing to you. Or
also, your company should pay for it.
well, the companies will pay for it for the people like that. And if you are someone that is like, hey, $8 is like the end of the world to me, you're just like, But you're pitching me that you're real famous, though,
Right?
huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You go,
yeah.
you're a big public personality, but this is like making a dent.
But a big thing that people have not talked about with this $8 thing is that because Twitter's like the only platform that gives not one red cent to people who produce content for it.
I know.
Right? And Elon Musk straight up says, he goes, once we have this revenue stream, we'll start giving money to creators.
Yeah.
So you never know. Like, it could be one of those things where you're like, yeah, it might actually be. I'm not
whatever,
betting.
I don't know.
He's not the guy
it is
betting
what it
against.
is. Yeah, but I think the biggest thing that people are all like, people are gonna get mad at that he basically, and we've joked about this a lot, the idea that he'll kind of say like, people will say like, you can say anything now, but it's like
No, you can't.
Well, but his whole fight, and everyone's even saying like, dude, listen to these articles. They go, Elon Musk takes Twitter exactly where he thought he would, into the sewer. Elon Musk supporters flood Twitter with the N-word. Welcome to hell, Elon.
Like,
these are the articles,
I saw
right?
this like the first day, like at midnight.
Like in their mind.
But like at midnight, everybody's like, we can tweet whatever we want. And you're like, there's still like
Nothing's
terms
changed,
of service here.
No, but his whole
you can
thing
tweet
was, yes.
about like the vaccine and stuff.
That's what his whole thing was, that the politics thing was going to be more equal or whatever.
Yeah, but like the thing where it goes, oh, the N-word's on Twitter all of a sudden. You're like, oh, is this your first day on Twitter? What did you think was going on yesterday?
Exactly.
Like, it's
kind
been
of
there.
like the news, the Hunter Biden thing, or the vaccine opinions, like stuff like that. I think is more of the focus.
Of course,
or whatever.
the stuff where you're just like, yeah, these things you're like, they'll kick you off for opinions.
Which
that
I sort
aren't
of
fact.
thought. I sort of thought that it was kind of like. It actually, like right now, they added a thing where people can put like extra information in or whatever. And they've already had that. But it's like, I am so jilted. Like, I'm such a jilted media looker that you can't, even like Wikipedia, you can't trust anything because it's all so
No.
biased or whatever.
Yeah.
But they actually are. That is actually, if that becomes the one place where you know that actually doesn't have like an agenda or whatever. Like, for example, if you go, hey, if I look at Donald Trump is back on there, and then he's tweeting, and then there's people saying, no, this isn't true, and that's actually in there. And then Joe Biden also, that he's getting fact checked. You're just like, oh, I can actually trust a place for what's real now to some degree.
I mean, there's no such thing as no bias. I don't think I'll ever fully trust, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like
No,
now
but-
there's zero.
I think that maybe not no bias, but there is no like overt stilting.
Right.
Yo,
Yeah.
this is what there was a Joe Biden one recently that he posted. He goes, the Joe Biden administration just did the most. We gave elderly people the biggest payment of all time or something like that. And he goes, this is the kind of stuff we're doing. And then the like actual fact check was like, yeah, because the payment's the same every year, but it's inflation adjusted.
Yeah,
so
right.
yeah, you're right. It was the biggest
Technically,
payment. 'Cause
nominally.
inflation was the highest.
Yeah.
And also it will every year will be the highest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love on the day the mid. At
But I was
mid-
like, I feel like that kind of shit wasn't getting like,
No.
like Reuters weren't fact checking that kind of stuff.
Fuck no.
Felt like anyway.
I did like though on like the midnight when you could say anything and then just like all the people with the mic drops of like, there's only two genders.
I saw
was
some
their,
people
like,
doing
tweets.
mic drops like, you know what? I'm going to fucking come out and say it. Guy's an orange idiot. Like, there was actually people.
Oh, on the left.
there
mic
actually
guy?
was people mic
Yeah,
dropping.
there's only two genders. Well, he's a fucking Cheeto. So
No, there actually was some of that. People with big mic drops that were like not mic drops at all. But they go, this, I'm telling you, this is like the horror movie style where it's like, this is, welcome to hell.
Yeah.
They legitimately in their mind, it's going to be like that, right? And it goes, for anyone who's wondered what the richest man had in mind for one of the world's most powerful social media platforms, the answers came in around 5 a.m. when Musk tweeted out a link to a vicious fake conspiracy theory. So they're really mad that he tweeted the Pelosi theory.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he does need to be more careful. He has 110 million followers and owns.
Also,
the
he's got a lot of
platform.
heat on him right now.
He's
period, but
walking into antitrust shit if he's doing stuff like that.
that also was the most gossipy rumor.
I know.
So basically, I don't know any like really what happened with the Pelosi
Nobody
thing.
knows still, and nobody will know until
Nobody
after the
knows,
election.
and nobody will know until after the election. Agree with that. But this was probably one of the funniest rumors ever. It's like someone came in and attacked him with a hammer, and everyone's like, "It was a gay lover squirrel." That's like the neighbor next to us. It's like, well, that's
Yeah.
not what I heard.
Well, there was all this again.
Do you hear what I heard?
Did you hear did I hear what you heard?
Well, I heard that it was a bathhouse raid.
Ooh.
And then the guy who was the policeman raiding the bathhouse showed up, and it was just one guy there, Nancy Pelosi's husband. And then he was like, "You can't have a bathhouse here," and he's like, "You can." And they had like a "What are we doing?" moment.
Sure.
Then he ended up banging the bathhouse guy.
I've seen this movie.
Yeah, and then he was like, "You can't tell anyone." He goes, I'll tell whoever the fuck I want. And they both reached for
He
the
goes,
hammer.
that a hammer? He goes, no, but this is.
Yeah, that's Hey, listen, I'm just asking questions.
Just asking questions.
That's a good way.
Free thinkers.
I love all. Yeah, we're just asking questions.
Questions.
Hey, I'm not saying what happened. I'm just asking a question. Was there a ball gag on the scene? I'm not. I'm just asking questions.
Were they both in their underwear?
Were they fighting? Listen, I'm not saying this happened, but is it possible it was Halloween and they were fighting over which one of the two of them got to be Will out of Will and Grace? Is that possible?
Yeah.
They were going to do a Halloween costume and the one guy's like, I'll be Will, and he goes, you're Grace. They were going to do it together. Is that possible?
I mean, that would make me just snap.
Was there men's semen found in his hair? That's a question that I'm asking. I don't know the answer to.
There was literally an article that from, I think it was The Atlantic or some of the major Vox or something, and they were like, they printed right away because everybody wants to get that first story out so quick, so they don't really care if it's right. They'll like after the fact. So one of them was like, they said that someone greeted the cops because there's a whole story where they go, the cops were greeted by a third person at the door.
Yeah, that was the smoking gun.
Right, that was, and people were like, what's going on? And then this was written by whatever this article is. And then they printed another thing like 2 days later to be like, where the hell is this misinformation coming from about this third person? Like, shame on you people for spreading this conspiracy theory. And you're like, you wrote
their
it.
Paper. Yeah, that's
you started it.
That's big time gaslighting. You know what I mean?
Insane. There's just no. See, Musk will do something crazy where like he'll start penalizing you for stuff like that. He'll figure out some sort of system where you can like, I don't know if it's like
you definitely are a Musk head though. You're all in. I'm remaining.
He's the stupid guy to bet against.
I'm just staying on the sidelines a little bit because so far all that's happened is I got no followers. Good.
Yeah.
I got to pay $8 a month. Bad.
Yeah. That's true.
You're a muskrat though.
But we might get grandfathered in.
Muskman.
That guy, Jason Calacanis, because he follows me, I DM'd him some ideas.
You DM'd him Twitter ideas?
Yeah.
What is Danny?
I one specifically only because I'm currently banned from YouTube. So
your idea?
I said they should bring back live. They should do live streaming. Because they used to have Periscope. They were the OG live streamers.
Periscope sucked.
I know Periscope sucked, but that's because Jack Dorsey was running Twitter.
You think
Elon
that Dorsey
Musk.
didn't know how to?
And like,
you think people would watch live streams on Twitter?
I bet you they could gussy it up and make it sick.
I mean, I guess who doesn't have live streams now? They all have.
Yeah,
it.
everything has live streams. You're just like Twitter just can figure out a way to make it the better mousetrap.
Yeah, I guess. Well, then they said people.
By the way, he blocked me after I sent that to him. So, just if anybody's wondering how that's going.
He's part of the secret council.
He is. I know, it's crazy. It's like the two guys from that podcast are like basically there's like 6 people running Twitter right now.
He's part of the secret council. Yo, that would be sick though if you just like I do kind of wouldn't that be badass to just at some point, like if we were in that situation at some point in our lives where we just like took over some like little media company, it was just the boys are like running it.
Yeah.
He literally just
except for this is like he took over Fox. Like the scale of it.
Well, that's scale, but it is crazy that just like, he just takes over a company who just like calls up his boys the way that we would do if we were like, hey, let's say
like if we moved back to Hamilton and bought CHCH.
What's CHCH?
Like the Hamilton, that's where Being Frank is on.
Oh, yeah, some network. No, let's say I got like a TV show or whatever. I would just like literally call up all my boys and be like, we're making a TV show, right? Yeah. Whereas like that's what they do. They're like, we're running this like $1 billion company. He just like calls up his boys.
Yeah. And they're just like, these few people have like...
It's like coming to write on a TV show. Like, hey, can you come take 2 weeks to come like write on Twitter code with me?
Yeah. It probably is better than... It's like too many cooks.
Way better.
Too many cooks in the kitchen thing, though. Like, they probably had 100 people giving input, and so nothing could get done.
I know.
Now it's just 6 people being like, all right.
Gotta take a second to tell you about Babbel. If you're like me, you want to learn a foreign language, you regret maybe not learning it in school, it's never too late to start with Babbel. Babbel is the language learning app that's sold in more than 10 million subscriptions. Thanks to Babbel's actively fun and easy bite-sized language lessons, you can finally cross learning that new language off your list. Maybe you're going to France and you want to be talking to some French girl. Oh la la. Maybe you're going to Greece.
Oppa! That's all I know.
Maybe you're going to Italy.
Ciao, bella.
And you want to be impressing the chicks out there, you want to pick up some phrases, Babbel, you only need 10 minutes to complete a lesson so you can start having fun in real-life conversations in a new language in as early as 3 weeks. Can't beat that, folks. Other language learning apps use AI for their lessons plans, but Babbel's lessons were created by over 150 language experts and voiced by real native speakers, not computers. Their teaching methods have been scientifically proven to be effective, and with Babbel, you can choose more than 14 languages. Like we said, Spanish, French, Italian, German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and the accent. There's so many fun ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to lessons, you can access podcasts, games, video, stories, and even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Start your new language learning journey at Babbel. Right now, this is the mother load, folks. You get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/boyscast. That's BABBEL.com/boyscast for up to 55% off your subscription with Babbel. Language for life. Yo, one of the things that they were saying is one more terrifying Musk thing's happening. Several handles are reporting they're losing followers.
Oh.
So... why would that be happening? And it goes, one comes from the Auschwitz Memorial, which has now tweeted that they lost 2.5 followers the same day that I gained a bunch of followers.
We lost 6 million.
Why is I was gonna and like the obvious joke of it or whatever, but like also it was like that is funny because you go, okay, well why is that? What happened? And the only thing that you could think of is that someone who was running the Auschwitz Memorial bought fake followers.
For sure. Yeah, they're just purging them of...
But that's
purging the accounts.
Because
or lots of bots follow them for some reason.
I've worked at places that do advertisements for companies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like industry secret for 8 years ago, which people don't do as much now, but people used to all the time get like a sponsorship deal, sell someone on like 200,000 views and it gets to like 100 and you just like straight up put 100,000 fake views on it. That used to be like par for the course.
And they probably
like,
never deleted them.
Every agency was like doing that. They'd sell someone like $1 million campaign, get 600, just juice an extra 200 up. It was so par for the course. So someone was hired to be like the social media person for the Auschwitz Museum and then bought like fucking fake followers.
Not a good look.
That's a crappy look. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, again, and that kind of goes to show what Musk was talking about, where he goes, there's like, I'm paying a certain amount of money. I'm paying like $1 amount per active user. And you go, there's all these fake users that aren't real people.
Fake users.
Yeah. So.
Welcome to hell, Elon. You're loving it.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, I think it'll probably look a little better. Twitter, he goes, it's a disaster clown car company that is successful despite itself. So all these people, but the funny part is these people love Twitter. They live on Twitter and they're just like, this is the worst. And all of their arguments, they keep just saying stuff that he already said. They go, he thinks he could just make it so you say anything under there. And it's like, yeah, that's funny, but like he never said that.
First off, he never said that. Two, it's still like going to be beholden to advertisers like everything is, right? Like, like every major platform or anything is like still has advertising component. Where
I think his argument,
turn it into some free like.
So probably
Wild
best
West
case scenario is you go, hey, there's just no political
censorship. Yeah.
But then that's where it gets like probably a little bit murky is when they go, the gender stuff is where it all gets murky. Cause you go, is it political? Cause you can say, hey, half the country, their politics are that they think that, you can't just like a guy shouldn't be able to like just slap a couple tits on in a wig. And you go, I'm not even doing surgery or anything, but I should be called a girl. Or half the people are like, I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
And then you go, that's politics. And their argument was like, no, that's not politics.
Science.
That's science and you're settled science and you're a bigot.
Well,
so
again,
that's where it's always going to come down to.
The thing is they've had no user revenue. Okay. They could get I'm sure there's a dollar figure where they go like, we don't need to worry that much about what advertisers think. And once they don't need to worry about it, then the less reliant they are on advertisers, the freer the speech,
Obviously.
which is on anything. Right. So like, maybe they go, hey, maybe they figure out people might pay for this. Maybe they have enough features where they go like, if we get enough people paying for it. I wonder how many people are verified on Twitter.
I don't know, 1 million maybe. But yeah,
so
they
that's
go,
$8 million a month they're going to be bringing in starting in a month.
something like that. Yeah,
It's not nothing.
it's not nothing.
It's not a lot considering he spent 44
That's what I'm
bills.
saying. Yeah, but if you look at profits, isn't it 10 years out kind of thing? Isn't that how you
Well, what's
calculate
that?
valuations?
8 million a month, and then times so it's 100 million a year. So that's going to be a while.
That's
going
not
to
gonna
be
get up there.
44 years. And then if you take into
Well, they
account
evaluate some of these companies at 30
value of-
years.
yeah, but if you take into account the
And
future
it's just
value
that.
of the money, you're talking 60 years, maybe 70. But so they're going to have to. They have a lot of revenues from advertisers.
Well, anyways.
More importantly, it's one of the most poorly monetized run businesses that has ever existed. So
Cleaning house. over
cleaning
there.
house.
Twitter could be officially for the boys.
It is official for the boys. I'm saying.
Now let's get down to real business here. Taking the stigma out of menstruation. Involve men in the conversation. Now, forever, I have not been involved in the conversation.
I prefer to not be involved in the
Well,
conversation.
I was actually saying the opposite. Every time I'm talking to a girl, I immediately, that's the first thing I ask, time of the month, huh?
You smell it?
Yeah, I smell
You're like a.
Yeah, it is really funny though because they go, it is one of those things where they're like, yeah, it is all this stigma and blah, blah. And they're talking about like India where they have some pretty wild things, but then their solution to get men involved is one of the funniest things I've heard. So taking the stigma out of menstruation, involve men in the conversation. Women's bodies have borne the brunt of centuries old stigma and archaic myths attached to it. People still practice golden age rituals where women are made to feel ashamed and apologetic of their periods. Do you say that when the girl's on her
I
period?
shame my girlfriend for a
Yeah,
period.
you go,
I
what the fuck is this?
disgusting.
Yeah, you're fucking...
You know, Jews are about that. They do this thing called a mikvah where you got to like the girl's got to go and then she gets inspected for like by like a woman rabbi kind of helper person if they're like still on the period. and stuff. They go in this like bath to clean up and like
A woman's rabbi, or are you doing a Miss Doubtfire?
Oh, hello.
Are you here for the period? Inspection dog.
And they got to go make sure that they're all cleaned up before they can come home.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, when did they leave? Like so they leave to go to church and then they do it at the church?
No, it's like it's
So they go, okay, everyone, church is over except for you know who.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's after synagogue. I think it's like it's its own thing you just go to. Like I think maybe right when you're done your period, like the last day of it, just to kind of clean out the residue.
There should just be an island for girls to go to on their period.
Yeah, and maybe you get them there via a cannon. You shoot them out of a cannon to the island.
This is This is
Parachute.
better solutions than getting us involved. What should happen was every time a girl's on her period, you go, listen, you're obviously sleeping in the garage. That goes to this.
You're sleeping with the dog. The dog's sleeping with me in the bed. You take the dog bed.
I'm in the doghouse. Yeah, girl's in the doghouse a little bit. Like, what does that mean? Like, she's on her period, so she sleeps in the doghouse.
Quite literally. Now we're making some progress.
Since periods are considered dirty and impure, so many women are not allowed to enter the kitchen while they're menstruating. Would you keep them in the kitchen?
Do I keep what?
Do you let them in the kitchen?
Yeah. I don't let them leave the kitchen.
Like if you're making bread, yeah, it's the opposite. You go, wow, but is that
She goes, can you unhook me from this pipe? And I go, pipe's in the kitchen. I didn't design this place. I don't know what to tell you. Who puts a pipe in the kitchen? I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. I would love if that pipe was in the basement. That was my original plan.
But we don't have a basement. We live in New York, so
And
pipes in the
then
kitchen.
that's the situation. Many are even forbid from touching a bottle of pickles. So in India, apparently, this is like a big
That is
thing.
a weird one.
The
That's like,
pickled one.
I love these very regional specific things because probably every Indian person knows exactly what we're talking about. They're
Yeah.
like, you do not touch the pickles.
Yeah, don't let a girl that's menstruating near the pickles. You trying to ruin the pickles? It says the pickles go bad.
The pickles go bad. Just touching a pickle.
I do the opposite. I'm like, if a girl's on her period, I have a pickle in my hand and I keep it. I like ward her off with it.
Like a garlic pickle, like just like a vampire.
Yeah, because it sort of smells up the room and I don't have to. And you say.
And there's a little liquid in there, so you can kind of like flick the liquid on
You
there.
flick the liquid and it's sort of like a leave room for pickles thing. You know what I mean?
How do you
The girl comes in and you just like, you do the pickle, you just sort of rub it on her body so she smells like pickle instead of period.
Maybe it is a strong scent, but like, how bloody is her hand that she's like reaching for a pickle and then just like the jar's all just full of blood now.
Well, there might be a thing.
Like, could there be some in between thing where maybe she just washes her hands before the pickles?
Maybe wash the hands before you touch the pickles. This probably started with one girl who was, coming in pleasing herself, comes back, hands all bloody, grabbing for the pickles, and you go, you know what? No pickles for period girls, period. You ruined it for everyone.
That's it. You're done with the pickles.
But yeah, their solutions are all, they need to get men involved in the conversation. But there's one of those things where it's like, all the like gross shit that dudes have, it's like the last thing I want this to be is like girls involved in these convos.
Yeah, I want to be 100% not involved with this.
So you're sleeping in the garage, and they can't touch the pickles, and men must encourage the females of the household to speak up on their periods without hesitation. So this is the part where it starts to get wacky, where you have, basically they're talking about the dad, and I guess the dad comes home to the girl and be like, hey, listen, like when you're on your period, we want to hear about it. How was your day? No, that's not what I'm talking about. You know what I mean.
What's the flow like?
This is just stuff where it's like, I think what girl wouldn't rather talk to their mom about this than their dad?
Yeah. But apparently, I guess moms aren't talking about this enough.
What's the flow like? Well, they're saying dads aren't talking. They want the stepdad to come in, turn the chair around, sort of like, you know what I mean, cool teacher style, and be like, hey,
pulls out a flashlight. He goes, let's teach you a little something right now. And he goes, has some ketchup in it. He like sprays it out.
Sprays the ketchup out.
That's a period.
That right there is a period.
She goes, okay.
Okay.
Right.
You're looking like a Stephen Pollock painting right now. I bet you are. Yeah, you are.
Stephen Pollock.
Who is his name?
Jackson Pollock.
Stephen Pollock's a guy that does period blood painting.
I was gonna say, is that someone you know?
Yeah, this guy named Steven, and he paints paintings out of period blood to remove the stigma. Daniel,
there's someone who for sure in Brooklyn, some woman sells period.
There was, and we've talked about it.
Oh,
I
have we?
had a joke about it. Yeah. I was saying that I have my diarrhea paintings. Take the stigma out of shitting myself. In places, women live outside their village, they said. Okay. With factual awareness, by understanding hormone changes and their mental state, men can show their support to women, put them at ease, and reduce the trauma they get experienced. The thing about this stuff always is, the only guys that's going to get super involved in the periods is going to be creeps. Like if they have a meeting, for example, where girls go talk about their periods, right? And they're like, girls are going to come here to talk about their periods, and there's 7 guys that show up to that meeting.
Oh, for sure.
There's not going to be a single one of those guys that isn't there for nefarious reasons.
Oh, there's a guy like on the way out who's just like, in like a hockey team or something. He's just collecting all the laundry. Like he has that laundry bin. He goes, hey, everybody just put your laundry in. And they go, hey, did you give your thing to the laundry guy? And you're like, laundry guy? What do you mean? We don't have a laundry guy? What are you talking about? And the guy's just like, yes, all for me.
That's the guy that...
That's the kind of stuff guys do.
He sets up the sanitary napkin thing where he puts he removes the tiles on the floor, and then he puts his head, just sticks out of the garbage can. So people stick the napkins in there, and his body's beneath the floor.
Genius.
Yes. They put the napkin in, and he goes, there you go.
Thank you. What? Nothing. Just this is one of those smart garbage cans.
Smart.
Have a nice day.
It's a smart garbage can.
Have a nice day.
It's definitely a smart garbage can. But the guy's got he's just like his neck's the only thing popping through. Then he's got a hole through the garbage can. Like the guy's just sitting inside the porta potty. The period dispenser. So that's if they this is where it definitely gets weird, where you go, listen, I think that most girls would probably be like on board where they go, hey, we're going to remove stigma, and you go from periods. You go, how are we going to do it? We go, we're going to get the guys real involved. It's not going to.
It's the guy's fault.
Yeah, probably the way to remove stigma is to get it less involved. Where you go, they're not even going to know what happens, and you're going to have a bunch of techniques, and then girls just get to. If the only way that you could probably do it is like they get 2 days a month where they could just tell you like, hey, this is happening, and that's all you have to hear.
Yeah, I mean, and part of it, the stigma is
don't
tell.
High
school kids will like make fun of girls who are on their periods. You're like, nothing you could do is ever going to change that.
No, I know. I'll tell you what's really going to help. They're having a big assembly where the guys have to hear about the period.
All right, every girl who's currently on her period, stand up and come to the front.
Now, every girl that's standing up, I just want all the boys to look at them and realize there's nothing funny about this. Now, so look at Stacy. She's free bleeding, and there's nothing wrong with that. Stacy, come up here. Let the substitute teacher take a sniff. Nothing out of the ordinary happening here.
Nothing to be ashamed of, people.
Yeah, so I don't think that's going to help the problem.
No.
Why can't men be proactive in procuring sanitary napkins for women? This is the solutions for these things. So I'll tell you what's not going to happen. I'll tell you what.
When they say sanitary napkins, they mean like when you get chicken wings, like those little things.
Yeah.
They those are sanitary napkins, right?
Well, instead of kicking her away for the pickles, it's what happens is she goes, I'm reaching for a pickle. You go, up, and then you throw one at her. And you go, put this on.
Full suit.
It's a hazmat sanitary suit.
I'm fine with that.
This is what they want. Come in. They come in covered in blood. You know what I mean? And then the men are proactive and they come out and they go, I bought you a gift. And you go, what is it? And it's in a ring box. You know what I mean? And the girl goes, oh my God, I can't believe, what is this? And then the girl, and you get down on one knee. And then you give her the gift box. She opens the gift box. Maxi pad.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Just a little tampon in the gift box.
The Maxi pad by De Beers.
Yeah.
I will say though,
tampon in a gift box, and she goes, "What is this?" She goes, "You've been cranky lately."
I'm guessing they don't do this in India. Of like, you know how they have like the maxi pads in men's rooms now?
Well, I can't imagine India's got a ton of that.
No, but that is really
maybe in some of the super like city or hipster.
But I guess that is really
areas.
if we get that, that'll be a real for the boys move right there because you go, they'll just be in the men's room.
And then
you
the
grab
girls,
them. You don't even have to buy them or anything. You just grab them for the girls.
You go, I brought you something. You go, what is it? A maxi pad. Why? Oh, I'm not even on my period. Oh, could have fooled me, you fucking cranky bitch. So
that would work out.
So that was one solution. Just as mothers teach their daughters about the changes they will go through, and fathers especially can teach their sons about women's issues. You know, so that's now the dad's sitting down with the son.
Oh, this is where we're.
This is how much.
This is where we shine.
Oh, this is how much like any men's issue is just so out of their like purview. They go, there's nothing more for dads to talk about their sons about. So every dad should just sit down with his son, and then you go, son, I need to talk to you. It's like, is it about school? How I've been getting bullied? It's like, no, this is blood. It's coming out of your sister's poontang right now.
Son, I just wanted to tell you, women are gross.
Yeah. And there's nothing funny about it.
There's nothing funny about the fact that just blood comes out.
I want you to watch this horror film. Now, see that girl covered in blood? You go, scary. And you go, actually, it's not scary.
Yeah, it's not scary. It's totally normal. That's your sister.
What's the movie where the girl's covered in blood at the end? Carrie. Yeah, they show Carrie and the girl's covered in blood. And then you're like, oh my God. And then he goes, you sort of watch that over and over again until it's actually pretty normal. It's like, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you should give her a hug if Carrie was in this room right now.
Yeah.
There'd be absolutely nothing weird about that.
I don't think so.
You know what I've been thinking about a lot?
Gay porn.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yo, Bobby Levine. But the with girls that are, because I always talk about like girls that are actually kind of smart at getting what they want and manipulating men or whatever.
Yep.
When a girl wants to win an argument, this is how girls actually win arguments. Especially if you're arguing about something serious, because arguing is fine. So every guy, if they actually want to get what they want, what smart girls do is they ask for something really big. Like imagine like you're doing this, like blah, blah, blah. And then, you never do this. And that's like let's say you're having some argument about something, right? And then the girl goes, you have a good point. You start to win the argument. And then the girl goes, you're probably never even going to ask me to marry you. And you go, you know what? Let's just, you can get that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's just a good negotiating tactic.
That's the negotiating tactic.
Like Trump
in real
101.
Yeah.
Art of the deal right there.
That is art of the deal.
You want him to take out the trash? Be like, so when's the ring coming?
Start complaining about
trash. It is.
Start complaining about why you're not getting more kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a big one's vacation. Like you start complaining about coming to her, sister's fucking, bar mitzvah, wedding shower. There you go, wedding shower. And then you go, I don't really want to go. And you go, and you don't even go on vacation. You go, what time is the wedding shower?
Yeah, what time is the thing? Let's just kick the can on this vacation as far as possible.
Yeah, that is the one.
Yeah.
And I was...
I mean, that's a good negotiating tactic anything. Where you go say you want a raise at work.
I know.
You say you want like a 10% raise at work. You go to the boss.
$1 million.
You go, hey, if I don't get this raise.
You go for the Alex Jones numbers.
Yeah, if I don't get $1 million, not only am I going to quit, I'm going to kill myself. And they go, fine. We'll
give you the extra $1.
How about an extra $1? And you go, fine, I guess I'll keep me alive for the year.
Yeah. We'll talk again another year. And then the last thing, men must also join progressive public forum conversations about menstruation health. So, and hygiene. This is the thing where they're having the town halls, you know what I mean? And they go, men must participate in this. They must reiterate again and again that there is nothing shameful about that part of the process. Like,
yeah, but if they do it reiterate it too much, then there's something going on.
that's what I'm saying. What are you talking about? It's like one of those things where they go, hey, it's not that big of a deal for when women have their periods. Everyone goes through it and it just is something part of life. And you go, yeah. And also, all 4 of you guys should be going to this weekly meeting at the public forum.
At the library.
And talking about it again and again.
But also go like any guy
wearing
listening.
a shirt that like, nothing wrong with a heavy flow.
But I'm saying any guy listening right now, go to your girl and just in the span of like a day or two, tell her like 25 times that there's nothing wrong with her period. She'll be like, what are you fucking doing? You go, look, there's nothing wrong.
Baby.
I accept you. And she's like, what are you up to?
I accept you even though you're a bloody mess. There she is.
Nothing to be ashamed of. She goes, I know that. You go, and I want you to know that I know.
I want you to know that I know that my little Bloody Mary is safe with me.
She goes, stop calling me that.
Hey,
no.
You know what? I currently denounce the Crips because I'm on Team Blood. And that is something that me and you...
And I've been practicing this dance all month.
Yeah.
So this is not done lightly.
So I probably won't do that. I can't imagine that I'm going to be participating in the forums.
No, I won't.
Now we're going to take another quick second to tell you how to get in shape. You want to get ripped. You want to get jacked. You want to be out there showing off that beach body. You want to look like a big man. That is why we're telling you about FitBod. You don't want to be out here getting personal trainers. FitBod is the app for you. It makes it easy. Building a workout routine shouldn't have to take hours of research, and keeping things challenging shouldn't mean buying even more gear. The FitBod app creates a workout routine that adapts as you improve and uses the equipment you already have so you can reach the next level without burning your free time or cash. For me personally, the thing that I like the most about FitBod is that it changes your workouts out as you go, so you never get bored. And as well, you can put in the app what you have available, so it can give you specific workouts based on what the gym has available. Or even if you have no gym and you're just doing free, certain free weights.
Oh yeah.
Or in the hotel room.
Circuit.
A little circuit. But you can easily create a dynamic, personalized routine with your equipment and goals with the FitBod app. Just add in the equipment, pick a fitness goal, and FitBod will create a routine for you. The app switches up your exercises to avoid overtraining or burnout. And a full year of FitBod costs less than a single lesson with a personal trainer. Join FitBod today and build a personal routine that grows without slimming down your wallet. Get 25% off your subscription, or try the app free at our link in the description below, or go to fitbod.me/boyscast. The link in the description below, or fitbod, fitbod.me/boyscast. However, there is an article that came out from Huffington Post that was they said, you know what? We're moving the stigma out of enough girl things.
Yeah.
We ran out of girl things to remove the stigma out. So now Huffington Post has wanted to remove the stigma, and they say men get real about their insecurities over man boobs. So it's sort of one for you.
Yep. You know what I wonder actually is, what point does gender affirming care cover this?
This is one of those things where you're just like, haha, imagine.
Well, no, I've thought this for many years, actually.
They are saying that.
But I've thought this for many years.
In the article, they are saying that men getting boob reductions is basically just the same as a trans person getting the dick cut off.
Under a logical thread, it is. And especially in Canada, where where the government's paying for it, though. But I'm saying in Canada, it's like the government's covering it, is it not? Or to a degree?
Well,
the mastectomies?
It depends on where you live. I know in America it was sort of saying that it wasn't covered.
No, I know in America
and
it's
the insurance wasn't going to cover it.
Yeah, I know
because
that,
it's cosmetic, right?
Right.
Well, yeah. So if they do consider that, you go, hey, I'm a guy that has like womanly shoulders. It's gender affirming care for me to get broader shoulders.
Yeah, or like that dude who like can't stop injecting his biceps with like that stuff.
Because I need to have these guns. You're right, because a lot of stuff would be considered cosmetic. They consider gender affirming, and gender affirming gets in a good category. Whereas you like, hey, I have like a feminine cheekbones. I need plastic surgery to affirm my gender.
Yeah,
because I look too much like a chick.
Or like hair transplants.
My boobs are a girl with just small boobs.
How can a bald guy not get like hair plugs? That's totally gender affirming.
No, because guys are more likely to be bald. It'd be the opposite on that one specifically.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But I just want to say, even before this even starts, Daniel, that if there is guys out there stigmatizing the fact that you probably have some man boobs, I think your boobs are beautiful.
Thank you.
I think they're a part of you.
I'm going to start binding.
I think, you know what? I'm going to be the stepdad in this one. I'm going to pull up a chair and be like, hey, let's get real. No, there's nothing funny about this. It's time to get real.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with your set of titties.
Girl, you're amazing. Or boy, you're amazing.
Boy, you're amazing. With that set of jugs. When I saw those jugs.
Damn, I wish I had the fucking big ass fake titties out right now.
And there's no glass your milk can't fill. Cause Dan, you're amazing with that set of jugs.
Those set of jugs.
There's nothing wrong with you having gazoombas. There's nothing wrong with you having tallywhackers.
Thank you. I'm just glad somebody said it.
Somebody needs to step up for these guys. These motorboating guys.
Well, we're not doing the motorboating.
Despite strides that have been made in body neutrality in recent years.
The fuck is body neutrality?
It's that no body is better than the others.
I mean, that's not true.
Your man boobs are neutral.
No body is better than any other body?
Just because you've got...
Seems very subjective.
It's neutral. Everyone's neutral. You're going to have a number for a name. A number for a name and a name for a number.
I like this.
No, that's what it is. You get a number. Your name's a number, or and then your age is a name. That's the new thing.
That's the new thing. Yeah, just really putting it in the blender.
And a name for a gender.
So LeBron James and me, same.
Neutral.
Same.
Newt.
Me and Usain Bolt, same.
And
cool.
Just because man boobs are considered fodder for jokes in stand-up routines in boys' locker rooms, that does not mean that you're less of a man.
If anything, I'm more of a man.
Apparently, this is what the article said, as the Mayo Clinic notes. Gynecomastia is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
Is a serious health problem. And this is where it gets wacky. They said an estimated 30 to 50% of healthy men struggle with it. So I guess that's just they're saying is like, yeah, fat guys have boobs.
Well, a lot of the
50%
all
of
the
men.
bodybuilders too. That's a big thing with all the steroid people.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because they actually get it like where it's.
But if you're saying 50% of men have something, all you're saying is like, yeah, fat guys have like some women tissue in their boobs.
Yeah.
Some booby tissue.
Some booby tissues.
Some booby tissue. And the numbers vary drastically because of gynecomastia is a relative thing. Today, thanks to surgery, they can feel comfortable in their skin, and they do consider the procedure gender-affirming surgery.
So that's what I say.
Well, his insurance company, however, did not agree.
Yeah, but that's in America. Can I go back to the
Canada,
motherland?
you can get anything, dude. Because in Canada, they're one step away from like, yeah, I want to come in and get my foot cut off.
No, it's like in Canada, go, hey, I'd like to get this gender affirming. They go, would you also have us suicide you, or?
Yeah, do you want us to suicide you too?
It's a little extra, but your insurance covers it.
Yeah, and they go, the whatever. They're kind of going through the thing how it's basically the trans surgery, and this is how Huffington Post couldn't even do one article about men without like. They tried to get into the like male game where they're like, we've run out of every girl thing to take the stigma out of. What about a guy thing? And then just like, yeah, some guys struggle with man boobs, which is just like the trans thing. The thing about the trans thing.
Yeah, think about because have we talked about that? Have we talked about it a lot? So anyways, the thing about
the only reason they were even able to do one article saying that there's like some hard things about being men is they had to transfer it over to being like, hey, and men need this, right? You need that? Well, now let me introduce you to a little thing called trans people who now you should be able to relate to.
There's going to be some sort of like group, the Trans Fat Guy Alliance. They all meet up together, just like it's like a mixer, just fat dudes and trans people.
Well, that's what they kind of said. Their advice for the people was they need to find a community of men, which shouldn't be hard if it's one.
Yeah, it's called a Buffalo Bills game. It exists.
They said 1 in 2 people have it, and also you need to find a community. It's like, would you ever, I don't think you actually have it, but like, would you ever, like a guy that has that, going up to someone else and you sort of spot him across the room, just like you walk up to a guy and he goes, hey buddy, you want to do a meetup? He goes, what? And you go,
no, I have a meetup. Yeah. He goes, hey, you give him a card.
Yeah. I have a meetup.
What do you,
just going up to a fat guy.
What are you doing on Sunday? He goes, watching football.
A couple of us get together.
Me too.
Yeah.
So do we.
So do we, brother. I just want you to know you're not alone.
Fire up the barbecue and, just...
Hey, pal. Going up to a guy just like shoveling down wings at a fucking tailgate.
Or like this, or do that at like the state, the Texas State Fair that we went to, or like the North Carolina State Fair.
Yeah, just going up to the state fair, walking up to a guy and go, hey, pal. Just want you to know you're not alone. Obviously, you're not alone because you got the 2 big gazoombas, but you and the gazoombas are also
Or if
not
there was
alone.
like a tent at so if you ever go to like a Fish or like a Grateful Dead concert, there's always like a table and it's all the sober people.
Yeah,
right,
they
who
sort
are
of
like,
get together.
They all get together because there's always a set break. And they all get together because like set break is just temptation city. If you're sober, right? You're just they're
fine when they're dancing, but as soon as they stop dancing,
they're
for
just
a
like,
second,
good God, like the set breaks are nightmares for them because they're just like everybody's doing drugs everywhere, drinking everything, and they're just in their like little corner, just being like, just please God help us get through this set break so we can just get back to the show. But that'd be like at the state fair, just like a fucking bunch of dudes, like little meetup.
Little meetup for the boys with the titties. Yeah. So this is what they said. Did you see that? So this is just like a small thing before we get into probably one of the funniest Reddits of all time. But they, because basically, so they just made like mental health disorders, like silently, kind of when no one was watching. They basically changed all the stats, and some of these people have kind of come out and be like, hey, this is kind of weird what they're doing here.
Yeah.
But basically, if you go in to get diagnosed with something, they've changed the statistics now and the thresholds. So if you like say, hey, I want to be called autistic, if I want to be called depressed, they started changing the thresholds so doctors can call you depressed and autistic and neurodivergent easier.
Yeah.
Like they basically now it's like, hey, I've been feeling sad. That counts. You know what I mean?
Is there any sort of like big pharma conspiracy around this?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, it's a huge part of it. But I think there's 2 things to it. Because one thing is, if you want to talk about politics or whatever, really the last little bit has been the era of you should be able to be considered lots of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they want to lower what's being considered a man. Like, it used to be like you had a transition and then it was
nothing's anything.
Right. So it's kind of like, they're lowering what's considered famous. Now it's like you had a TikTok video pop up. They're lowering the standards for what's considered
liberalism
straight.
Finally a mental disorder?
They've even have ones where they go, hey, if you can suck a dick and still be straight, right?
Yeah.
Like they've lowered the standards to who can get in the army, right?
Yeah.
It's like this has been the era of like expanding boundaries until everyone's everything.
Sure.
You know what it is?
Very inclusive.
If you take,
communism.
How the Earth, they say like
flat.
the continents are slowly like moving apart or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. The last 5 years or the last 20 years has been moving quickly. But if you think of all of these groups as Venn diagrams, and it's a bunch of Venn diagrams, they're all slowly migrating.
We're going back to the panacea or whatever, or what's it called?
Yeah.
The original.
They're all slowly
Pangea.
migrating into just one circle where everyone's straight, everyone's gay, everyone's depressed, everyone's not depressed,
It's probably the Matrix. We're all just living in pods. Everybody's in pods.
Everyone's
Pod
pog.
people.
Yeah.
So did they make liberalism a mental disorder now then?
I got it. Yeah, I got
Did
it.
I get in there?
Did you see that one of the things was trending on Twitter was libtards? Yes.
Yeah.
There was a couple of funny things like that.
Oh, there's a lot of good shit trending on Twitter. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, Twitter's lit since last week.
Yeah, it has breathed a bit of life into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have. That's a big thing that in this deal, like the guy who was stepping out was like, hey, this is going to probably lead to like a lot of doctors that are going to be like overdiagnosed because the doctor doesn't even have to do his job to be like, hey, you know what? This seems like that, but let me do some other, inquiry. Now it's like, oh, someone like the symptoms are someone coming in and being like, I just feel kind of like down lately. It's like that's enough now.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact things, but they're lowering the standards of anyone that can be
It's
considered
like your
anything.
sketch. It's just like, here's some pills. It's just like, it'll just be like
Here's
a bowl.
some
It'll be
fucking
like
pills.
a bowl of random pills on the doctor's desk and be like, help yourself. And go, what do these do? He goes,
No.
I don't really know, but just.
It's the Matrix, but he comes out and he's dressed in the Neo and he goes, hey, take the red pill and the blue pill.
Goes, this one's an upper, this one's a downer. They'll level you out pretty nice.
Yeah. But I just thought that was so funny that like stuff like that just kind of happens behind the scenes. You go, what have they been doing at these kind of like medical organizations? They're like, they just like turn down the crank of what's considered depressed and who can get medication. But you know what it is?
More
It's because
inclusive.
people go in there and they self-diagnose. They go, hey, I think that I'm autistic and I've been making TikToks about autistic.
Well, it's like their identity.
And then they go into the doctor and he goes, I don't know if you're actually that. And then they kick and scream. And then a lot of people will be like, okay, fine. We'll turn the notch down a bit. You're autistic.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, it's my identity.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you see that video? I think I sent it to you, but the Starbucks kid?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's amazing.
You were liking that one?
It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
So basically this trans woman, right?
I don't think it was a trans woman. I think it was it a trans woman?
Yes.
I think, oh no, trans man maybe.
Trans man, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Trans man with a beard and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, and they had
Working
made a
at
TikTok
Starbucks
crying.
crying because he had to work 25 hours a week or something.
Yeah.
And they scheduled him for 2 shifts in a row on Saturday and Sunday. And like, but is like in the back, like weeping and making this video for working at Starbucks. It was insane. I go,
Do you know what I did have a little bit of a contrarian take on that one?
what's up?
That to me, I saw that one went like really viral of people like dunking on it.
I didn't even see it. Someone told me about it. I never came up in my shit.
Because, well, everyone was quote tweeting it and being like, this is one of those things where it's almost, I felt a little bit where, it was a girl that transitioned into a guy and it was crying.
I didn't even get that part, to be honest, at first. I thought it was a dude and he was saying that they were misgendering him, calling him a woman. But I guess that makes sense.
No, he was crying because he had too many Starbucks shifts.
Yeah, I know, but he said, and then they misgendered me and I'm neurodivergent, but I must have missed that part because I didn't realize it was a trans
Well, the
person.
part where it was like a girl crying and everyone was kind of quote tweeting it like, welcome to the real world, fucking this and that or whatever. And it was obviously a little bit funny, but I found it hard to find funny because so many people were like so mad about it. And in my mind, I was a little bit watching that being like, this is every 20-year-old girl. I know this is a girl that transitioned to a guy, but I'm like, this is the most, if you've
true,
ever
yeah.
dated a girl that was like 21, her being like, hey, I go to school because this person said they're in college. I go to school and my job and I'm overwhelmed and they start crying about it.
my whole thing
I've
is-
seen that.
That's true.
So to me, I felt like
I was
stuff
like,
that was
why
like,
make the video?
that it was crazy
That's
and it
my
went
whole thing. I go,
viral.
why is this a video?
I agree.
And it wasn't even a TikTok. It was like a 16:9 aspect ratio video.
Right. And they're trying to go viral and they got what they wanted and everyone's making
viral
fun of
where?
them. But this is like, and I never usually take this take, but this was one of those things where you go, this is almost, and I know there was the trans component where it's like
I did think it was funnier when I thought it was a guy though, like a biological guy, and they were calling him a girl.
So much funnier when it was a guy. If this was a guy with a beard,
I thought that's what it
crying
was.
and stuff like that, I would have thought it was funny. But when it was like, if this was like a girl, I would be like, this is the most normal thing I've seen like
Sure.
10,000 times with a 21-year-old girl overwhelmed with school and work having like a breakdown. She probably, they shouldn't have put it online. But you're right. This is a trans woman that is now a man. So it's like, I guess I should look at them the way that I look at a man. And I guess I should be like making fun of them more.
Yeah, right. That's pretty fucking bigoted of you
honestly,
to not give them the courtesy of putting them through the blender on the BOYSCAST.
I go, but it kind of is. literally what's going on.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if I
You're
want,
like dead lifing them.
if I'm like too transphobic to fucking make fun of this person, I guess. It's the idea.
I guess, yeah.
Because this behavior, I've just seen this
Yeah,
so many
I
times in my
agree.
life where I was just like,
Oh, if that was just a chick, like just like a female looking, presenting,
yeah, you just be
nothing.
like, that, you know what I'm saying?
It would be nothing.
But
No,
you're-
honestly, if anything, it'd be like, yeah, Starbucks has a union now. Like, because that was the thing. It was like Starbucks is a union. And then a
Right.
chick did it, you'd be like, oh, yeah, Starbucks is a union.
I think there is a lot of girls that sort of transition to a guy and they're realizing that like no one gives a shit. Like when you cry when you're a guy. Like, yes. If you were a 20-year-old girl and you make a video crying, like you can't help but to feel empathy for. If you see a 21 girl crying and you go, oh, welcome to the real world, but it's like, you know, I'm doing school and my job's too hard and blah blah, and they're like bawling their eyes out, like. No matter what, you're still a little bit like, okay, take it easy. Like, it's going to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, your instincts are like, don't worry. Like, you know what I mean?
Shout out to Starbucks.
But when it is a dude, you're like, fuck off, bro.
bro. Shout out to Starbucks, best global public bathroom.
Okay. So now, the moment that Daniel has been waiting for.
Yes.
We found maybe the best Reddit thread of all time.
Ooh, I like Reddit threads.
So there is someone, and they are called Therians.
Yeah.
Therians or Therianotypes, and we did something that
We've
was
done
somewhat
something.
similar.
We've discussed the
Otherkins.
Therians.
No, Otherkins and
Oh,
Therians
and then they
are
were.
different.
Oh, Therians are like werewolves or something, right?
So Therians, yes, are people who identify in some intrinsic way as an animal that exists or has existed on Earth. Being a Therian is involuntary rather than subcultures such as the furry fandom. So they think they see themselves as like way different from furries. You know what I mean?
It's Teen Wolf. They are Teen Wolf.
Yeah. And they choose to engage with the community. Therians are generally aware that they physically have a human body. So they know that they're stuck with this human body, right? But the funniest part is like, so all the people posting, a big thing is them talking about what they call quadrobics, which is essentially humans running on four legs like an animal. So they're all of these like adults that walk around their house growling on all fours.
There was a guy on TikTok actually who I saw who's like, I'm gonna walk on all fours like for like I don't know, like a month or something, or like some period of time. And it is crazy how like he was all clunky at first, and then he looked like really like moved.
He had it better.
The way he moved by the end of it was like a dog or something.
Well, some of these Therians are having problems with it because this guy, one of the ones actually, this guy posted, he goes, hey, I can't run on all fours now that I'm an adult. Ever since I was a toddler, I've been a Therian, and it's been extremely mild, especially compared to most, but I've always been walking on all fours, and I wanted to get back into the game. You know what I mean? He wanted
Therian game.
get back into the walking all fours for old times. I used to run on all fours extremely fast, but now I'm a grown adult who isn't super athletic, and I've watched some videos on it, and I know that I have to have my fingers curled in, wearing gloves with padding.
Fingers curled in, that would make it very tough.
Well, that's
To
what I'm
not have
saying.
flat
I think he
hair.
does it like that. But basically his whole thing is he can't Therian like he used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. you
So
get
this
old.
guy, well, that's what happens when you get old. And then, they're coming in. We got the gang together because they're all in packs, right? The wolf packs. They go, what are you thinking? You want to get the pack back together for one last time? And he goes, I can't do that anymore. And he gets out there and he's got an injury. You got to explain to your wife, like, what's going on with your arm? You got an injury? It's like, a bit of a wolf injury.
Yeah.
So
you say wife, but my question is actually, is this a gay thing?
I don't think it is.
Because the guy who you're talking about right now, his handle has the word gay in it. Gay duck father.
Well, I'm sure there is some gay Therian.
But I'm wondering because a lot of these things end up being like really
Sexual.
and they're like really like denominated by people who are like LGBT or whatever.
Of course.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, is this are these like fucking
90%
werewolves?
of these Therians are like, oh, I'm a wolf. Oh, I'm also gay, bi, and
That's
trans.
what. Yeah. That's
the
what
whole-
I'm.
The whole
that's what I'm
package.
asking.
Doesn't
That's
stop
what I'm
there.
asking.
But the thing that probably I liked the most about this is there's sort of like a bit of a fight between the old Therians and the new Therians. And this old Therian guy, he's like, listen, guys, I've been a Therian before you. I was been walking on all fours before you, when you were walking on all fours.
Small
No, when you were
pants.
still walking on all fours. When you were in your diaper walking on all before when you were crawling around, right? And he sort of was giving people advice. He was like, listen, these are some things that I learned. And a lot of his advice was you got to interact with them. Don't necessarily come out of the closet as a Therian to everyone because some people won't react. Like maybe just keep it yourself, the community. And I was like, I don't think this guy's met what 18-year-olds are like right now. Yeah. His thing was sort of like, don't rub it in everyone's face. And I was just like, my friend.
These kids are shitting at the mall, just on the floor of the food court, being like, what? I can't help myself. I'm just the dog.
Exactly, right? You go, every single one of these people is starting a TikTok account the day they decide that they're a Therian.
Oh, yeah.
They already have a Therian Pride Day. They're petitioning at school so they don't have to sit in desks.
They have a club. They're marching.
Yeah.
Or I guess that's not. Is it a march if you're on all fours?
I think that would be some type of a crawl, like a pub crawl.
Like a pub crawl.
Yeah. You have a wolf pub crawl, a Therian pub crawl. No pun intended. He says, I noticed plenty of the users here are teenagers. I've identified as a wolf person since I was 14. I found the Therian community a bit later and joined the community when I was 18. I'm now 30. Still a wolf person, had my struggles, but now I'm happily married, employed, and no longer depressed. Well, I am certain that the older members here on the subreddit can give good advice. I want to throw in my 2 cents. The biggest thing about being a Therian. So if you're out there and you're walking around on all fours, growling at people, this is what you should know. Find a balance between the human and animal side. Find safe ways to indulge in your instincts. It's often a better idea to regularly do small things in order to avoid buildup and frustration. So this is where I think he's losing them. He's saying, just do a few things here and there.
Yeah, pee on a fire hydrant, that kind of stuff.
Pee on a fire hydrant. Growling's a big part of what they do is they like growling. He goes, walking around at home on all fours while no one can see them. Like this guy wants you to sort of be in the closet with your Therianness, right?
He's ashamed.
He's ashamed.
Sad.
This guy's a Therian in the closet.
Yeah, it's very...
I can't imagine the new breed of Therians is going to be like in this old Therian ways of life, right? Play with your pets if you have any. Seems like it doesn't make you that much of a Therian. They just like to play with pets.
Play with pets. So I guess they're equals kind of at that point.
Put on loud music when you're growling too much so it doesn't bother your neighbors. This is all stuff where it's like, why should I have to hide who I am? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're howling, chirps, and roars. This is
chirps.
Imagine your neighbor was a Therian, though, buddy. Like
nightmare.
You literally have them crawling. This is what you
honestly imagine your neighbor was a Redditor.
A Redditor, period.
Just period. Yeah. Like if your neighbor's a Redditor, that sucks.
But I just like the idea of you fucking. The people make the joke that your upstairs neighbors are clunking around. Imagine you heard 4 things clunking around, and then you hear,
It's Werewolves of London.
I'm eating meat. You just be like, hey, can you stop howling? The guy's like, yeah, I have a disability. I'm a Therian.
Yeah, that sucks.
Put on some loud music to avoid that. And he goes, if you live close to nature, go outdoors. Like, this guy's just like a fun. He's the gay guy.
Loud music, and it's literally Warren Zevon, Werewolves of London. Woo. Not that song.
How does that song go again?
Werewolves of London. Bump bump. It's the same as the Kid Rock song and the other Werewolves of London. Bump bum bump bum.
Yeah.
Woo.
If I was a Therian, I'd definitely be a dog.
No.
So my neighbor, he goes, keep attached to the real world. Don't do anything dangerous or stupid. This guy's the gay guy of Therians, that like the old school gay guy that just like minded his own business, had a job. Like he was gay, but he didn't need to like get his dick sucked in public on Reddit before everybody's a teacher.
Well, you do now, pal. Otherwise, we're not going to let you in.
Excuse me. Do you have seating for Therians on this plane? Excuse me, woman. Before we have sex, I should know I'm a Therian. What are you? Praying mantis. Even if someone looks good to the animal side of you, make sure that it's safe for human consumption before eating. So that one of the things that he's saying, like, listen, I know you're a young Therian, just don't eat a bunch of like raw meat. Or being a Therian is never an excuse to attack people's pets. Well, these guys are walking around on all fours at parks and
like they think they're like a coyote,
dogs.
Like or something.
Yeah.
Just like,
no, they think they're all sorts eating pets. I think that's one of those things where you go, listen, if you're in the Reddit group to be like, hey, I probably should stop eating people's pets, right? And you go, I think you probably want to go to the police, pal.
Uh-huh.
He's also got this a little bit of a Therian thing of like the old gang member that's like, listen, you don't need to make the same mistakes that I did.
Yeah, learn from my mistakes.
We've all been there. Listen, pal, let's wax a little bit. Let's rap for me. You think I've been there. You think I haven't eaten a pet or two? Listen, why you go? The kids are all eating pets. He goes, why don't you want to eat? Why can't we eat our pets? He goes, I just don't think you should eat them. He goes, what the fuck do you know? What the fuck do I know? Listen.
He pulls up his sleeve.
Yeah,
Goes, look at this.
Look at this. Yeah.
He goes, oh God, what is that?
Sit the fuck down.
Goes wolf attack.
Me be doing the attacking on a baby.
1974.
And it was the wrong baby. It wasn't even the right baby that I wanted to eat. It was 1945. My friend just bought a new hamster. It was his favorite hamster. I was walking around on all fours. That hamster caught eyes. I didn't like the way it gave me cut eye.
Put it in my mouth.
Putting out my mouth and it just felt so fucking good.
Broke his neck. Broke the poor thing's neck.
Broke the poor thing's neck.
Therians are fun.
Wolf life. Really think about this before coming out as a Therian. What is your goal? And do they need to know? Is there a risk that it'll backfire?
I'd say the goal is to annoy people.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any dyslexic actors who find their way into this subreddit?
And what did they thought they were?
Thespians. Just riffing.
Old school versus new school. They said, don't be afraid of hiding your Therianology. I'm telling you, this new breed of Therians, they're fucking out and proud, man.
Where do you find these people?
Online, they find their
But
community.
I'm saying in the wild. Do they refer to everything as the wild?
Where do you find them doing their... I think a lot of times it's just kind of mucking around their apartments and on all fours.
Because nobody accepts them.
Well, a lot of these guys are teenagers, so they still live with their parents, and the parents go out and then they walk around on all fours. But it's probably not giving them the buzz, you know what I mean? You start out by walking on all fours, next thing you know, you want to be eating some hamsters.
Yeah. I bet there's one of these kids goes mom's like, oh, we're having burgers. He goes, I'll take mine raw, Mom. And she goes, raw?
Something you should know. Mom, sit down. There's something you should know about me. You're gay? Yes, but...
Yes, but you knew that. Why are you even bringing it up?
Yes, I'm gay. You're trans? I'm thinking about it. Oh, okay. What is it? Non-binary? I'm polyamorous. Yes, all that stuff.
All
obviously.
the things you know. But I'm a wolf.
But I am too a wolf. Wolf Blitzer, the original Therian. Not a lot of people know that fact. Don't be afraid of hiding your Therianology. And he said, it's usually more acceptable to be into furry fans. So if you want to get your furry, you can disguise yourself as a furry.
That is a good disguise.
But some people might not know that there's a wolf in sheep's clothing at the cosplay thing.
They must. Some of them have a good sense of humor about it, though, and then they go for Halloween as sheep.
And they go, yeah, I'm a wolf.
They're
in sheep's
like the
clothing.
Therian thing is literally all dudes dressed as sheeps. Being like, what, you're doing this too? Come on.
I'm the wolf in sheep's clothing.
You go, what do you mean? You're going to be the only one?
Take responsibility for your life. You might be a Therian, but don't. You might experience species dysphoria or feel alone or have weird urges, but you must take responsibility, study, get a job. So this guy, I'm telling you, this is the old Therian that just wants the other people to stay in the game. You know what I mean?
This guy was like, and the sign said dog people not apply.
And the sign said dog-haired scruffy people
Yeah, he's like,
must stay outside.
That's what it used to be like.
That's what it used to be like. Now these new Therians, they're running for office. They're having goddamn own TV shows. Back in my day, we used to keep our species preference to ourselves.
Did they claim Dog the Bounty Hunter?
He might be a low key like. There's
He kind of looks like he could
Yeah, it's
be
one of those
actually.
things where gay people are like Tom Cruise, probably low key gay. That's them. Dog the Bounty Hunter. Come on,
You go, come on.
we can read between the lines.
Of course he is.
Exactly. What kind of man would want to have sex with his wife? You know what I mean? That's obviously a wolf that he's just... He goes, not everything is Therianology. This is another thing he's saying to young people. Like, not every quirk is just, like, for example, if your dietary preferences, or if you're afraid of spiders, that's not a sign necessarily that you're a wolf.
Yeah.
So that's the old guy. That's kind of, and I'll
the
tell you
old
what.
salt.
This is the old guy, but the new people, how do I tell my parents I'm a Therian? There's so much I've wanted to do that's related to that part of me. I wanted to get gear for one thing. This guy wants to tell his parents about being a Therian. He's saying, for example, he wants to get gear. I don't know what gear is.
Haven't you disappointed them enough?
Well, I'm assuming he wants to get a wolf costume.
Or gear is code for steroids.
I know, I was thinking that too, but I don't think he's talking about that type of gear. But this is the thing. So he goes, how do I tell my parents about being a Therian? And the other guy's like, listen, like, you don't need to tell everyone. Like, keep it to yourself. You can talk to us. And the other guy's like, hey, I want to get my parents to buy me a bunch of gear.
Yeah. Like a harness?
I'm tired of having to constantly repress my dog-like instincts. You know, if I want to sniff someone's fucking butt at the fucking dog park, I'm going to sniff a butt.
Imagine like you tell your parents and then they want you to like, you'll be like, yeah, so now you have to take me for walks.
Yeah.
I need to go for a walk. And
Mom,
then
I
you
need to
just
go for a
shit in
walk.
front of your parents when you're like 16.
Couldn't you just be gay? I told you I'm also gay.
I am.
It would be nice to be able to growl and howl without the urge of holding it back because my parents are in the room. So I told you the new guard of Therians is like, why can't I fucking howl at the top of my lungs at the family gathering?
Full moons must be a
It's your
nightmare.
grandmother's 91's birthday. Oh,
Seriously, imagine you live with your parents. It's a full moon.
the full moon would be
Where you
bad.
just like howl into a pillow.
No, what? This is one of those things where your parents, that you go to the moon, your dad has to do the thing to like make it uncool. You know
Oh,
what
yeah,
I
he
mean? Your
goes,
dad
"Yeah,
comes
me
down-
too."
Yeah, me too. And your dad's howling.
Rolls his eyes up.
Your dad shows up to school and picks you up dressed like a wolf. What's going on? We're just two Therians. Coming to pick you up at your friend's house on all fours. Clop, 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 clop. What's the problem? We're just two Therians. I'm also a wolf. He goes, fine, I won't be a fucking wolf anymore.
Fine, I'll just be.
That is definitely how you get your kids out of being a wolf, is you also be a wolf.
That is.
The dad that shows up.
But the
with
guy,
earring.
that dad is like, he's on to. This is the 10th thing he's had to do like this.
Of course. And he's already had it. Your dad's also, look at me, I'm also sucking a dick. How you like that?
He's been like a bird, a cat, just everything.
So this guy says he wants to tell his mom and that. This person says they can't run because they're an adult. Today I left my pack. Never joined one. I regret it. So this guy joined a wolf pack.
Yeah.
And apparently the wolf packs aren't as fun as you might think they are.
Yeah.
When I joined the community, the pack seemed nice. I joined a big one on Discord, and the people were kind of fine. But then slowly, they started getting mad at me because I wasn't talking to enough. He wasn't posting enough. So they like you posting if you're going to be in the wolf pack. And there was one rule I hated: be active. You need to warn when you won't be acting. So it's a very it's a very curmudgeon-y wolf pack. They
That's
go, hey, hey, fellow wolves. It's the that show, the British guy show. The wolves in the vampire show.
Oh, yeah. The vampire show.
Hey, if you fellas, if you're not going to be posting in the Facebook forums, the Discord, make sure that you give us a warning so we know that you haven't gone off the reservation, so to speak. Gonna need you to check in 3 or 4, and then they say you become a ghost and you get kicked out if you're too inactive, and then you have to censor everything you say. The person said that one time they posted a Cult of the Lamb, and they had because he had lamb, and then they said that you can't post anything with the word cult. So the Therians are very sensitive in the wolf
The
pack.
cult stuff.
So they're PC Therians.
Yeah.
So he
The
says
cult stuff's reasonable. You don't want to get.
doesn't like to be part of the cults. One guy says, is it weird that I despise my Therian types? And this person, guess what their Therian type was?
Fox.
The crocodile.
Oh, you can be a crocodile? Oh,
So
you
he's
can be
a
anything.
crocodile, but he's a bit of a crocodile Uncle Tom because he doesn't like crocodile. Says he works at a place. He goes, in his past, he was a crocodile, but he works at the zoo. And a lot of times when he sees the crocodile, he doesn't really like the crocodiles.
Really?
Which sucks.
He's like
he himself is a crocodile.
He's like the Jewish guard at Auschwitz kind of thing. Where he's working there and they go, must be nice, huh? You piece of shit. Selling out your own kind.
Yeah, he thinks he's more like a lynx or something like that. He wants to be just sort of rolling around in the snow.
What's a crocodile? Always a
Well,
crocodile.
he's bummed out that
pal.
he's a crocodile. And this other person says, are wolf Therians overrated? Because the wolves are walking around like they own the place. So if you have anything else, you're like, oh, I'm a crocodile. And then the wolves are like, yeah, just so you know, the wolves kind of run shit around here because that's the coolest animal and everyone wants to be Therians, which was the same as Otherkins. Everyone wanted to be a wolf.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they all want to be wolves. Wolves are the coolest one. Although lions are cooler than wolves, but I guess that's not in the wrong family.
yeah, there are. That's true. Anyways. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see the Bugathlon that will be happening on the BOYSCAST Patreon, BOYSCAST, patreon.com/theboyscast. At 2,000 patrons, me and Danny will be competing mano a mano in a fight to see who is the bug man.
You know what we could use? We do need new ones of these, so maybe we'll make these. Make something for the studio.
Make new shelves and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because
stuff for the studio would be good to start. Eventually, we'll just be doing stupid shit that we don't
Definitely
need.
stupid shit. Check us out. Patreon.com/theboyscast. Peace.
The boys.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The lads.
It's the BOYSCAST.